Well, we just got back from our fall trip to the California Delta, and I'm about to share with you some highlights from our day and a half up there. But before I get to those, I want to give you a little background about the Delta. There is more to the California Delta than just giant bass. Okay, maybe not. There are giant bass in the California Delta. Let's be honest, that's what it's all about. But there's also some other things you've got to experience when you get up there. The first thing I really want you to focus on, especially in this video, is the scenery. The Delta is an unbelievably beautiful place. In fact, in this video you're about to watch, I've got two sunsets and a sunrise, and they're just unbelievable. And this isn't just a fall thing. It's always that great up there. So when you go to the California Delta, don't get so caught up in the fish, you fail to appreciate how just awesome that place looks. Another thing about the California Delta, the place is just flat out scary. I'm not gonna lie to you, just about every time we go to the Delta, I do some damage. I damage my boat, I damage a fishing rod. Whatever it is, it's almost like you've got to give a sacrifice to the California Delta when you're up there fishing. In the past, I've done prop damage. You go into little franks, there's all kinds of rocks you can't see, they're just below the surface. I got in there and just tore up my prop. Then you start to notice all the prop repair signs all over the place. Gee, I guess I could have figured that one out. I've also had the gel coat on my boat damaged. When it got real windy once, I got blown under one of those giant boat covers they use for those ocean-going vessels. I got blown right underneath it, the boat came up, and the wall just really did some damage on my gel coat. This trip, no damage to the boat, but I did lose a rod. On one of my back casts, for who knows why, the rod just snapped in half. It's probably some of that Delta mojo, but it wasn't one of my favorite rods, so if I have to give something up on a Delta trip, that was okay with me. Another thing you're going to need to experience in the California Delta is the food. If you're staying at the B&W Resort, like we usually do, get down to Korth's Pirate's Lair. It's just down the river. You're going to want to have breakfast there. Go park your boat, tie it up, go inside, sit at the counter, and you're going to have this great Delta experience. It's just a good breakfast. Of course, you can only do that if it's a low tide or if the fishing's not going to be good to start the day. If you see it's a high tide, you really want to fish those. They're a lot of fun. But low tide, get over there for breakfast, experience there at the Korth's Pirate's Lair. Then at lunchtime, you're going to want to cross Frank's Track, get over to Bethel Island, and you're going to eat lunch at the Rusty Porthole. The place is awesome. Nothing has more Delta ambiance than the Rusty Porthole. The food's great. We always get a bacon cheeseburger. You get the onion rings. It's good. Trust me. For lunch, you're going to want to take a break. Hit the Rusty Porthole. Okay, and now as far as what we did this trip. We caught not a lot of bass, to be honest. We got there in the afternoon. We fished an afternoon bite. Didn't catch a lot of big fish. What we did do is run into some micro schoolie striper boils, which doesn't sound like a lot of fun, but it's a blast. I mean, the fish they're only about this big, but you'll see them coming up and busting on shad. You take a topwater, you throw it in there, they're gonna kill it. And you know, they're not big fish, but they're so much fun to catch. At the beginning of the video you're about to watch, you'll see some of those boils. A lot of fun, not really big fish, but still a ton of fun. We also caught some bass, but the first day, not really a lot. We were throwing topwaters, crankbaits, drop shots. I threw flukes, but mostly topwaters and crankbaits, I would say. Second day, we got out there. We caught some nice fish. We caught a lot of small fish as well. The same thing. Started the day with topwaters. We ended the day with topwaters. We got some stripers on the topwater. In fact, at the beginning of the second day on the video, you'll see Darren caught a really nice striper. We're guessing 4.5 pounds. A real good fish. He also caught a real nice bass at the end, so stick around for the end of the video. A nice largemouth bass. He caught that on a Senkos, so you'll see that there at the end. A lot of fun. We caught a lot of fish, not a big one. We didn't catch a Delta giant this trip, but the weather was incredible. The fall weather up there, the days were not too hot. We didn't have a lot of wind, so it was real easy. I have a 17.5-foot Ranger, so when it gets super windy on the Delta, it's hard for me to get across the big rivers or to go across Frank's Track, but this trip, awesome. Perfect weather for us. Our downfall was we had a full moon on both nights we were there. Of course, on the full moon, the fish just feed up at nighttime. It does make it harder to catch the fish. So we didn't catch a giant, but as always, the Delta is the Delta. It's a blast. We love it. It's a 5-hour drive for us from here, but we make this drive as often as we can because the California Delta, there is nothing like it. So come along. We're about to head out for a day and a half of fishing. Come and join us.